I can hear your sound. Hello, YouTube. Hi, YouTube. Hello, TikTok. Hello, and happy. Today is what? Today is Tuesday? I think so. Welcome back. Yesterday was a great live. We also had a very good reading that for me was eye opening, right? And right now we are going to continue with the book, which is Don't Sweat the Small Stuff. And it's all small stuff, simple ways to keep the little things from taking over your life. And after this call, we are going to do the reading, the collective reading. So every day, my plan now is every day from Monday to Friday, I come in live. The first live we do is about the small stuff. Don't sweat the small stuff, which is the book, for about 30 minutes. And then after the first 30 minutes, the next 30 minutes will be for the collective reading. So today's topic is to make everybody right the first time. Let me double check, right? No, let others be right. Let others be right most of the time. Now, if you are a frequent, if you've been here before, you've heard me talk about how I'm having a new setup. So I'm setting up things again around me. I'm on the side here on TikTok. So let me move a little. It's because of the YouTube camera. And so LC Sign, which is a lighting company, is helping me now with my setup. So I have better lighting because as you can see, to me at least, it's a little bit dark, but people have told me that it's not. So they sent me a LED light, a flat LED light, very portable and movable, and I'm going to try it because I need something that would help me for my lives, right? When I come on live, the lighting, and it needs to be hanged, but where I am at right now, I can't hang it. So this is the LED light that I'll be using. You can find it on my TikTok shop. It's better seen on YouTube as I can see. Right, I'm going to plug it in now and then we are going to continue the live. So give me just a second. Let me turn it on. Right here at the back. I feel it's a lot brighter. Do have a little bit of shadow at the back, but I'll figure that out as we go. But I do like it. Makes me look nice. Anyway, so let's move ahead. The link will be in my bio. You can find it in my TikTok shop. And I don't know if it's on Amazon yet, but if it is, I'll put it on my Amazon shop as well. I know there's a few people who follow me who are content creators, and there are quite a number of people who have asked me about light. Well, now I have a company you can work with because I am working with them too. So let's go. Mariama Faye M. The topic for today is let others be right most of the time. Nobody wants to do this, right? Let's start from there. Let me do this. I'm having a prompt from TikTok. Let others be right most of the time. Nobody wants to do that, myself included, right? I can sit here and say, I'm a good person. I practice everything in the book. I'm trying to. But letting people be right, it's a difficult thing to do. It's very difficult, right? Because we want to be right. We want to be heard. We want our voice to be heard. So here it says, being right, defending your position takes an enormous amount of mental energy and often alienates us from the people in our lives. Now, I have experienced that in my own personal life, in my own family. Most of the things that I talk about, I've experienced from my own family and then living that family and going forward in my life. So everything I say is a personal experience where some of the people that raised me, this is not a thing. I had to learn this along the way, where everybody wants to be right. That's the way that I was raised, right? But then going on in life, I saw that this was a general thing in most parts of the world, right? Where people would, everybody wants to be the boss. Everybody wants to be the boss. Everybody wants to be the leader. Everybody wants to be the person who is right. Everybody wants to be the one who knows it all. And it's true, it alienates us from the people in our life. It alienates us from the people that we love, right? Because then we're not listening to each other. We're just listening to ourselves. We only want our voice to be out there. But what about the next person? What about the next person? Right? And here, there's a part that I really like that I want to share. Needing to be right or needed someone else to be wrong encourages others to become defensive and puts pressure on us to keep defending. There's a power that most of us don't use. I didn't know about this power and I had to learn about it. Is when somebody says something that's not right or that's not true about you, and you just say, okay, and you let it go. I can't remember which episode I was talking about, right, which chapter we were at, where I said when I go on social media, because I'm on social media a lot, and then people would say things about me. When I post on threads, now I'm seeing it more on threads because I'm spending more time on threads. But whatever they say, I just say okay, and I let them have it. That's how you think about me. That's your perspective of what I am saying. This is what you got from what I am saying. You are right. I don't debate on social media anymore. Even in person, I don't debate people. I don't I don't argue my point anymore. I don't try to prove myself anymore. I just let people have their own idea of me. Whatever you think of me is absolutely fine, and I'm okay with it. Now, did I learn that in one day? No. It took me years of practice to get to the point where I am I am okay with however you think of me. And that is just letting people to be right most of the time. Let them be right. However they think, let them have it. You be okay with it. I'm remembering something I heard a long time ago. I don't know if my grandmother told me this or who told me this. She passed away. But someone once asked me a question: if somebody curses you out or says something nasty about you, does it stick on your forehead where wherever you go, people are going to know that, oh, this person said this to you because it is written on your forehead? And I said, no. And they said, so why do you care? I remember this now, but it was told to me as a child, but at that point it didn't register because I was so used to being defensive and so used to proving my point, and I was raised that way. So I thought that was right, right? We always think that, but they are going to win. If I let them just say what they want to say or think what they think of me, they're going to win. I want to win. But then we don't know, most of us were not taught that to actually win is to let the person have it. Let them be right. Let them be the know-it-all. Let them think whatever they want to think. You hold on to your power. And there's another part here that I wanted to share. Think about it. Have you ever have you ever been corrected by someone and said to the person who was trying to be right, "Thank you so much for showing me that I am wrong and you are right. Now I see it. Boy, you are great." What does that mean? It means you can say you've done it. You can say that somebody have corrected you and you say, "Oh yeah, yeah, I understand now. I get it." But which is very different from, "Okay, you are right and I am wrong." And you take it in good faith. That doesn't happen a lot, right? Usually people want to be there and actually argue and go ahead until you see my point. I'm not going to stop talking. Or has anyone you know ever thanked you or even agreed with you when you corrected them or made yourself right at their expense? Of course not. The truth is, all of us hate to be corrected, which is why many a time people might say that you are a good listener, that they feel so good being around you, that they love talking to you. Why? And most times these are people where when they were talking to you, you didn't even say anything. You were just silent. You just listened to them. From my experience, what I have learned is when people say that about me, it's because I just listen. They feel heard. They feel heard. I understood what they were saying. And even if I don't agree, I have learned to do that. Even if I don't agree with what the person is saying, I have learned to say, I understand. I understand what you're saying. And that makes sense. And then I, I tell them what I am saying. But if I see that it's not landing well, I just let it go. Why? Because what's the award if I am the right person? If I am right and they are wrong, what's the award? There's no award at all. Most of our arguments, so most of the arguments we see is usually that we all want to be heard and everybody wants to be right and everybody wants to be the leader and everybody wants to be the boss and nobody wants to be the student. Nobody wants to be the person who's wrong. What's coming to mind now is something that I have learned, and I am still learning it. It's not easy. It's a painful thing to learn. Let's sink in, to let it go. And this is, let's say you're talking to a family member or anybody you know. And I've learned this the hard way too. Anybody you know, conversation, whatever it is, they might ask your advice or whatever it is, but then they don't take it in. You're having a conversation. Maybe you're talking about mindset. Maybe you're talking about money. Maybe they're having a fight or whatever it is, and then you told them the truth to open their eyes for them to see. But then they don't see what you're saying. They can't see it. And you want to show them that they're wrong. I have learned not to do that. Why? Because every single person that you see is on a different journey. We are all on different timelines, right? We're all on that learning process. So I might be in point one, the next person point two. Somebody is just starting. There's somebody who's at point five, but sometimes they come back to point two. So the learning journey, right? And then when you know that, when you understand that and you're able to see that, then you're able to see that everybody has to learn their own lesson at the right time. So you let them learn the lesson, right? When you say what you have to say, that's planting the seed. So what I have learned to do is I will freely tell you. If you ask and I know, I will tell you. If I don't know, I might point you to the right direction and then leave it at that. What you do with the information I've just given you is up to you. Now, what happens? What happens, right? Along the way, what I have realized, and this took me years to learn, when people learn the lesson you were trying to tell them, either they will come back to you and tell you that they have learned it, or even if they can't connect with you anymore, they will never forget it, that you taught it to them. It has happened to me personally where people were telling me things or teaching me things, especially on the spiritual path, because I lived at a temple and I had to go back and apologize because I wasn't willing to listen. But it wasn't that I wasn't willing to listen, it was that at that point I did not have the capacity to hear them. So many a time, the person you're talking to does not have the capacity to hear you. Either they have to calm down, either they have to clear their mind, or there's a lesson that they need to learn for them to understand what you're trying to tell them. I hope this is making sense and it's not too for anybody. I hope I am making sense because I can see it. I can see what I am saying, and I always had to have to be able to visualize what I am saying. But okay. Oh, we're doing good. We're at 17 minutes. Let me see. Okay, here. Those who are in the habit of correcting others are often resented and avoided. I used to be that person who was in the habit of correcting others because I was trained to do that. As a child, I was raised to do that. Everybody around me is always correcting you. So I thought that was the way to be. Didn't think nothing of it. But then coming across people in my life who do that, grammar police. You write something, they want to nitpick everything you write. You wear something, they want to nitpick everything you're wearing. Whatever you do, they want to nitpick everything and give you unsolicited advice, is it? Who likes those people? Nobody. I've never met somebody who says, I like being around people who are always correcting me. Now, that doesn't mean don't have mentors. That doesn't mean don't be around people who are higher in whatever realm, career that you want to be. But even in those spaces, if you have someone who is constantly correcting you, there's a possibility that you'll start avoiding them. I do that. It's not that it's never appropriate to be right. Sometimes you genuinely need to be or want to be. Most times we want to be right. Perhaps there are certain philosophical positions that you don't want to budge on, such as when you hear a racist comment. I mean, we can talk about that as well. But even in that case, I have corrected people in that case, but at the same time, I've just let people go with it, especially on social media, right? We can see it all over social media. Now, the more you learn about social media, the more you understand about clickbait, which is posting things or writing things, creating certain types of videos that make people comment or whatever it is. And I try my best to avoid those, to avoid posting them, and to avoid being in those discussions, because you are online talking to people whom you don't even know, and maybe intellectually you might be higher than them. In life you might be in a better place. You might be online debating with somebody who is miserable and in pain, and the only outlet they have to let go of their anger is online. And you just sit there reacting, that's the word I want to say, reacting to everything that everybody is doing and everybody is saying. Was it yesterday or day before? We talked about it as the reason why um, most of these illnesses, there are most of these sicknesses, right? Because they are from the body, being from holding grudge, from holding resentment, from stress, from pain, from just being controlling people, wanting to control things every time, everywhere. You have from cancer to diabetes to stroke to whatever it is. Now, I'm not saying those are the only reasons why those things happen, but if you dig deeper in terms of wellness and well-being, some of these issues contribute to it. So letting people be right most of the time is protecting your peace, protecting your energy, protecting yourself, loving yourself. That's what it is. Because when you are in a peaceful state, you don't fight with anybody or anything. Whatever they do, you just, it's okay. That's another word I've learned to use too. When I see that somebody wants to poke at me or say things to me or whatever it is, I'll just say, it's okay. It's okay. Everything shall be well. It's okay. Everything will be okay. I understand. I know what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. And it's all right. And I just keep it at that. It has saved me a lot of headache. I have had people come back to me and apologize. Just recently, I've had somebody text me that. I have had people after months come back and say, oh, you were right when you said that. I said, I know. But at that point, you couldn't hear me. And for me personally, I have learned when somebody tells me something and I don't understand it or I don't get it or whatever it is, instead of debating them, I would listen. And then many a time I would say, I would look into that. Maybe that's something I need to learn. Because I have learned, and we talked about this yesterday, I think, we meet people for a reason or a season. Everybody that you meet in your life is there to teach you something. So what people tell you, it's not a coincidence. They are telling you it for a reason. So if you're listening to hear, to absorb, you get to pick out the lesson in it instead of debating them. But this is what I know, but this is what I heard, but this is what I learned. And maybe what you learn, you need to unlearn that. And this is why this person is bringing you this information. I hope this is making sense. And if it's not, put it in the comment section, right? And I will answer the questions from here. It will be posted right away on YouTube. And for TikTok, I will download it and put it in the playlist. Don't sweat the small stuff. And any question, please put it in the chat and I will answer it. Because for me personally, I know these things took a long time for me to understand. And I had to rewatch it and re-listen to it over and over and over. Right? I had a client recently, I was trying to tell her these things, some of these things, not all of it. And at that very moment in their distress, it couldn't sink in. They couldn't hear it until eventually they had to message me and then we go over it again. And me, myself, this is how I learned it. So, as I will see you in a few minutes when I come on live again for the card reading, the collective read. So, see you.